Defend yourself against DDoS attacks by hiding your true IP address with ExpressVPN, and visit my custom link expressvpn.com/ghilliemaster in the description to find out how you can get an extra 3 months free. Before every update in gtaonline, I like to make these videos discussing how much money you'll need to buy everything to give you a nice guide as to potentially how much you have to grind for by comparing the amount I predict to your own cash amount in gtaonline. Or maybe you just have tons of money and it doesn't even matter either way. But today we're going to be taking a look at how much money I think you'll need for the Agents of Sabotage update using data from past DLCs to give a hopefully accurate estimation as to what things will cost. And since we just got the trailer earlier this week, it's the perfect time to make this video while we still have about a week left until the DLC releases. And how I'm going to be doing this is I'm first going to go over the amounts that I think you'll need for day 1, and then after that I'll go over the total amount that I think you'll need for the entire DLC with all the drip feed included. Let's start off with the vehicles from that trailer though. First, the new Banshee. All the sports cars from the Bottom Dollar Bounties DLC were around the $2 million range. So I think the new Banshee is going to cost $2.25 million. And I also predicted to have an HSW upgrade, so we can throw in another $1 million on there for that. The new Honda Accord style vehicle, I predict this one to be one of the cheaper ones, and the vehicle that I'm going to compare this to is the Astrope GZ, which has a price of $459,000. However, I do think it's going to cost more than that. I predict $720,000 for the new Honda Accord. Then the Jester RR, this one I'm almost certain will just be an upgrade at Benny's. The Jester RR does have a trade price, but let's assume the full price of the vehicle just for the sake of this video for consistency. It costs $1,970,000. So with that Benny's upgrade based on the cost of the 10F widebody and the Sentinel Classic widebody upgrades, I think you're going to be looking at a good $600K upgrade cost, which adds on another $2,570,000. And now we get into the bank account killer, the Police Coquette. If we just go and look at the price of some of the previous cop cars, the Police Gauntlet is $5,420,000 before its trade price, and it only gets down to $4,065,000 with the trade price unlocked for it. And that is for a muscle car. We're talking about a high-end sports car here. I fully expect this to cost $6.3 million without the trade price. And with the trade price, I think it'll come down to just over $5 million. But as I said, for the sake of consistency, we will keep it with the no trade price value. It's going to be very expensive, no doubt. Now let's talk about the Terabyte. We know the Terabyte is getting some sort of upgrade for a collectibles scanner. Rockstar mentioned this in their first post talking about the update initially. And if the FIB logo is also a livery for it, then there are probably some other things coming too, upgrades to the Terabyte. So for the Terabyte, I would say a good $800K should suffice there for some of the upgrades. However, I can see that one slipping into the $1 million range. And lastly, for the content that we know about, we have the actual property itself, the garment factory. Usually the properties aren't extremely expensive because this is the initial buy-in for the new content, so don't price them too high. And unlike other businesses, it sounds like this is going to be the only location, kind of like the Arena War Workshop. I'm going to say a nice $2 million cost with an additional $1.4 million if you want all of the upgrades for the property. Now, assuming all of the vehicles here are day 1 vehicles, the ones that we saw in the trailer, that's 4 vehicles so far on day 1. In the Bottom Dollar Bounties DLC, we had 9 vehicles available to us on day 1 with 7 in the drip feed, so we should be seeing at least 5 more vehicles available on day 1. And this is where it gets kind of hard to predict because depending on the class of vehicles they release, the prices can vary a lot, especially if we consider the possibility of us getting more than just the Coquette police car. Every single police car they've added is always super expensive. So let's just assume that much like in the Bottom Dollar Bounties DLC, we get 3 police cars on day 1. The Coquette we already covered. That leaves us the possibility of 2 more to be coming. And I'm just going to go ahead and predict a fat $4 million for each of them. And even that might be on the low side, which leaves us with 3 vehicles left to predict on day 1 if we assume we're getting around 9 vehicles. I predict that we'll get 1 supercar that will cost $2.7 million, an off-roader that will cost us $1.5 million, and a muscle car for $1.7 million. And I almost forgot about the police boat, which could be free, or we may have to pay for it. At the time I'm making this video, I don't know the results of the heist challenge. But if we do have to pay, that is another likely $3 million that we have to tack on to the total price. Just for coverage purposes, we don't know how much new clothing there will be, but let's just assume there's around $1 million or so of new clothing or masks. And for new weapons, we also don't know of any. They haven't gone over any new weapons. But usually weapons cost around $400,000 to $600,000 depending on what weapon type it is. So just in case we do get a new weapon, let's just throw in $600,000 for 1 new gun. And that brings our day 1 total, if you want to buy everything the first day, to $34,540,000. But really, the police cars are the major thing that inflates this price so much, and the police boat, which may end up being free after all. But if we compare that to our day 1 total from the last update that I predicted, it really is around the same price point. But for predicting how much you'll need for the drip feed vehicles, we got 7 vehicles over time with the bounties update, and 9 vehicles over time with the Chop Shop update last December. So let's go ahead and meet in the middle and say 8 vehicles will be drip fed to us with this upcoming DLC. I'm going to give a flat rate of 1.7 million per vehicle, just like I did for the bottom dollar bounties prediction video, to give us a total of 48,140,000 to buy everything in the DLC, which is right around where my other predictions do fall for all the content, including the drip feed. As I do always say though, most people do not need to buy everything day 1, and most players actually don't buy everything day 1. They likely just buy the new property and a couple of vehicles that they are interested in. So if you have around $20 to $25 million saved up, I'd say that's a good chunk of cash to be sitting on for day 1, so that you have some leftover cash after making a couple purchases. Let me know what you guys think about these price predictions down in the comments. Are they too high or are they too low? And if you enjoyed the video or found it helpful, feel free to leave a like, as well as subscribe to my channel for more gtaonline content. I also want to give a huge shout out to all of my channel members for your support. If you'd like to become a member for some exclusive perks, you can either use the join button or the link that's down in the description. And as always, thanks for watching and have a great day.